I don't understand the whole
So
hunting
like I
thing.
said, fishing. Fishing is like it's a skill. There's a skill. They don't have all these different options for like lures and bait and they don't have all these different options for nothing. You just have to know how to apply that. Like hey, you walk into a Dick's Sporting Goods store. There's in Jersey. It's called West Marina. It's all fishing stuff. You go in there. It's like, hey, they know what they're doing. They're giving you the answers to the tests, but you actually have to read the book to still understand what those answers are and how to apply that.
Yeah, I just fishing. It's one of those. It's one of those activities that I want to get into. I would love to get into, but I just I don't
I,
know.
be honest. Even if I don't catch nothing, like fishing with my son's a different story. But if I go by myself, I take a little bottle of whiskey,
That
maybe
makes
some
sense.
beer, sit back, relax, and
That makes
even
sense.
if I don't catch shit, I'm still enjoying the view, relaxing, and enjoying the ambiance of it all. It's the atmosphere. It's nice. It's cool. I'm like, all right, fuck it. I didn't catch anything today, but I still had a nice 2 hours of relaxation.
No, that makes sense. It makes sense. And I want to apologize to everybody. We're lagging right now. It's a little laggy. I know it is, but just bear with me. I just got back. Internet's kind of bad. But hey, well, we're back for the first time in almost a month here. It's not lagging with you, right? It's not lagging with you. I'm sure it's not. Right, Fog?
No, I'm not like I don't see you're not lagging either.
Okay, so I think it's just my internet, but I'll fix that next week. I didn't have a chance to. I just got back like 2 hours ago. Hey, I'll talk about that in a minute. But welcome to the two-man front with the Fog and Be Easy Sports. I am Be Easy. This is the Fog, my partner in crime, and we're going to be talking about a lot of things today. A lot of things I went over the weekend. Went on over the weekend in the world of football, college football, the NFL. It's going to be a fun topic today. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as always. And wherever you are watching across platform, it's going to be shared amongst a lot of groups. Please feel free to comment as well on as you guys make it more fun to talk about sports when you are commenting with us. Please leave your comments below, whether on YouTube or wherever it may be at that time. Some of the things we're going to be talking about today: winners and losers of the week 6 early and late games. Wild Sunday today. Winners and losers of week 6. We're going to be talking about which coach is next to be fired. Obviously, with the news of Robert Saleh being fired from the New York Jets, that's a big one right there. That was a big kind of a little bit of a bombshell announcement. I don't think people saw that coming, at least now. But will there be other casualties mid-season this year? I can think of a few. And then our top 4 Heisman candidates. We are in the thick of things in the Heisman race. Is the race over? Is there still a chance to someone to catch up to Ashton Gentry? We'll see. Will we reveal our top 4 candidates? Let's start with today. Let's start with today. Again, please subscribe. Sorry, I pull it up. Please subscribe. Bug week 6. Winners and losers of week 6. Early and late games. We had some good 1:00 games. I'll tell you that. Like that, Washington. I'll tell you right now. This will probably be the last time Washington and the Baltimore Ravens over the next maybe 4, 5, 6 years play on a 1:00 because there's no way in hell. I don't think anybody thought this was going to be a game that's going to be a marquee game. But what a marquee game we had at 1:00. We had some doozies in 1:00 hour. We had some in the 4:00 hour, depending on what time zone you're in. Fog. Winners and losers of week 6, early and late games.
Loser. Dobbs, 2 touchdown scores. Tony Pollard, a touchdown. Joe Mixon, 2 touchdowns. Derrick Henry, 2 touchdowns. Baker Mayfield, 4 touchdowns. Brock Purdy, 3 touchdowns. That's the fantasy football team I had to play this week, and I scored 121 points. That motherfucker bonded me, put up 172. I'm a loser.
That's funny, yo.
Nah, losers this week, Philadelphia. I hate saying this because it's my team, but god damn it.
I would.
Washington kicked the Browns' ass. And you come in after a week off and you barely beat the Cleveland Browns. And Deshaun Watson, once again, did nothing. Those two teams in that one game gives you your losers, not just for the week, but probably for the season. my my winners out of this, Pittsburgh looked good against the Raiders. I'm not gonna lie.
It's okay.
Hey, listen, they won.
They
Green
did.
Bay. Green Bay looks every bit of official. And the fact that they had Romeo Dobbs and what's his name? Jake, is it Jake Reed or Jalen? I forget Reed's name.
Let me look it up.
No, his last name's Reed, but offense and the defensive side of the ball. So I love that. And Texans, the Texans are big winners, man. They keep doing it. And I said it before. I said the Colts. I took the Colts at the beginning of the season. I went with I guess that was my hot take. Colts winning the division, but they're not. They're not there. But my winners: Green Bay, losers: Cleveland and Philadelphia. Both of them.
Okay. Green Bay, Philly. We said Green Bay, Philly, and who? Houston.
Houston was the winner. Yeah,
Okay, okay.
absolutely.
Houston was winner. Houston was the winner.
And for NFL fans, Washington and Baltimore, we were just talking about that. That was a great game. That's a winner for everyone. And
Yeah.
congratulations, Washington. You actually have something to cheer about since Joe Gibbs. And when he was there, Brian wasn't born, and I was a little kid still playing in the mud. So
It's been a long time.
It's
It's been
been
a
a
long
hot
time. It's
minute.
been a long time. But I want to say, hold on. I wouldn't say it since Joe Gibbs. I was gonna say since RG3. Like that was what 10, 11 years ago, or something like that, maybe 12. I don't know.
I mean, it was like a blip in a radar. We're like, oh, we
It
can get
was.
excited. No, we can't.
But no. Jane Daniels. I mean, that game was a winner. That the DC or Baltimore or DMV area are in good hands at quarterback for the next decade,
Yes.
right? As long as those guys are healthy, as long as they're upright, they are good. My first winner is Caleb Williams. I know nobody watched the game because it was on like 6 a.m. over here and 9 a.m. over there.
Oh, I heard it on the drive out to Jersey. I listened to the whole game. My son was like, "Why are we listening to this? Shut up. I'm taking you fishing. We're going to listen to this."
Caleb Williams was brilliant. Just another great performance. He had over 230 yards passing and 4 touchdowns. And Caleb Williams looks like he's starting to get it a little bit. I'm excited about that. Hey man, we're gonna get back to the Jags because they're gonna be a part of another segment we're gonna be doing in a little bit here. But man, they are a dumpster fire of a football team, and it's so crazy because the last 2 years, I feel like a lot of people were picking them, especially when they came back a couple years ago against the Chargers in the playoffs. I think they were down like 4 touchdowns. They were down like 20 points. A lot of people were picking them to at least be that team that would break through. The step back they have taken the last maybe since like the middle of the year last year until now. Holy smokes, they're an awful team. They're an awful team. Trevor Lawrence. Hey, I'm a glad it's lagging right now on my end, so I can't really hear what you're saying. But
I didn't say anything.
Oh no? Oh, okay.
Oh, I just smiled.
Oh.
I just smiled. Trevor Lawrence. The protege. Sorry.
Man, it's hard to. I don't like. See, I don't like to just throw away quarterbacks. I do believe Trevor Lawrence can win in this league with the right ecosystem around him. I just think the Jags are a dumpster fire of organization. I know people say I know people love to say that's an excuse. It's not an excuse, man. We've seen quarterbacks go from one organization, Sam Darnold, to another
Yep.
one and have success. So like it's literally a real thing, right? So, but they were one of my losers. The Bears, Caleb Williams specifically, one of my winners. Another winner I had in this week. Another winner I had this week. I was gonna say, oh, lost my check. Where are they? Oh, the Niners. Sorry, I forgot they played on Thursday. The Niners were a winner for me this week because they needed that game. That was a great whole game for them. Brock Purdy looked pretty good in that game. They again found another running back in Guerrero, a guy I believe you liked coming out of Louisville. You talked about him a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, you liked him a lot. So he came out and because when the other running back went down, I forget his name. His name is slipping my mind right now. He went down with an injury, and Guerrero came up, and Isaiah Guerrero came up, and he had a pretty good game. So the Niners kind of back in that win. I think Niners are going to be fine. They're going to be fine. I think they're 3-3 now. I believe they're going to be okay. I don't think they're done, but that was a winner for them. My losers, man. You know what? Honestly, I will give my Steelers some credit. They're a winner to me as well. We won the game. We won our game. Really pummeled the Raiders. I'm not really sure it was because the Raiders were so bad or we were just that good defensively. I think it was a combination of two. Offensively, we still look meh. Hey, look, I'm going to say this on air. Najee Harris actually ran well.
Yeah, he did.
Like, I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, he did.
Ran with purpose. He actually ran very well. It's a pretty good defensive line that I was kind of worried about coming into this game. So I will tip my hat up to Najee Harris. Had one of the best games of his, honestly, in my opinion, one of the best games of his career, and one of the best runs he made to score that touchdown at the end of the game to kind of put the game away. So that's good. Another loser another loser fog I have of the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, that was embarrassing. Like that's just again, we'll get to more of the Dallas Cowboys in a minute after this loss. I mean, it was an embarrassing loss. I think they lost 41-6 or something like that. Just an embarrassing loss at home. They're 0-3 at home, I believe. 0-3 in Jerry World, I believe. And I would say go ahead.
Dallas doesn't fail in bet for whatever reason, and there's zero logical explanation for this but Dallas sucks against the spread at home. And this year, if you've bet against the spread going against Dallas, you're winning money because they suck at home. It doesn't make any sense. But I've done the research over the last decade. Dallas just doesn't cover spreads at home, and they don't. It doesn't even make sense to me because over unders they lose on the under, and they lose against the spread. Has nothing to do with anything because there's been different regimes there over the last decade. They still fail. It doesn't make sense, but it's a good bet.
It's unbelievable how that team just underachieves every year. Unbelievable. And they what bothers me about Dallas is I know they have their defensive woes. They can't stop anybody. They can't stop the run. Nothing. They can't. But I just feel like they have an infrastructure there in terms of players that they have impact players. That's what bothers me about Dallas. They have impact players. They have Dak. They have a running game. They have CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons. They have some number two receivers who are kind of like number two by committee. I believe they have a pretty good line. Defensively, they're pretty average. Secondary, though, Deron Bland and Diggs on each side. Like, this team has players, bro. Like, I don't know what to say about Dallas, but they are definitely one of my biggest losers of this week. They're just a terrible, not terrible football team, but just a very, very just average football team, man. They just are. Another loser I have here, though, A team that went against one of your winners is Arizona Cardinals. They like and Kyler Murray, and I know your brother hates Kyler Murray with a passion. I get it. Like, but he's just so just inconsistent. He's probably the most inconsistent quarterback in the league. Like, I can say that with confidence. Kyler Murray will have one game where he looks like an MVP type player and have another game where his body language sucks. He's yelling at coaches. And I've said this before. Look, Kyler, at some point, it's you. At some point, it is you.
Listen, they looked great against San Francisco last week, and then this week against Green Bay, they look like complete trash.
I don't understand. I don't understand that team. I don't understand Kyler Murray. They paid him, so like they're kind of stuck with him. But my God, like, but you know what's funny? So many teams will take Kyler Murray as their quarterback right now. There's like maybe like 10, 11 teams right now that would take Kyler Murray as their quarterback today, right? But he's just so damn inconsistent. And I don't think it's the height. I don't think it's any of that. Sometimes he's just kind of in his head though.
No, it's him.
It's him. Yeah. No, it's definitely him. It's not the height. It's not the height. But hey, speaking of some teams we're to get back to, like I said, let's go ahead and talk about this, man. Like, because as you guys all know, Robert Saleh was fired this Monday night or Tuesday night, I guess how you look at it. Monday by the New York Jets. Big news for the last 2-3 days, and especially in New York. Fired after about 3 years, I believe, as the New York Jets head coach.
Didn't deserve to be fired.
Did not deserve to be fired. 100% agree with that. Did not deserve to be fired. I do believe that Aaron Rodgers definitely had, whether directly or indirectly, he definitely had a part in this firing. And he's gone, right? And I believe his interim coach's name is Jeff Ulbrich, who actually fired, or I don't know if he fired, but demoted Nathaniel Hackett, something that Robert Saleh actually wanted to do before he was fired, right? So that was, to me, it was just the whole thing. Again, Jets organization trash, which is why I said before Sam Darnold left. Now he's in a better organization in Minnesota, having success. Go figure that, right? But Bug, Robert Saleh is gone. Who or which coach is the next to be fired in season? Like, I think there's going to be a lot of coaches gone at the end of the year. Who's the next coach do you see is going to be fired within the next couple of weeks here, or maybe even more?
I want to say Doug Peterson is probably public enemy number one on this list. If it was me as an Eagles fan, you barely beat the Browns. It's time for you to kick rocks. I'm just saying. But no, for me, Doug Peterson would be the guy. And how ironic is this, B? After the Eagles won the Super Bowl, I knew it wasn't feasible, but I said, Peterson has to go. Keep Frank Wright. I think the Eagles would have had success with Frank Wright there, given what they had and what he worked with and how he worked with Wentz. I said Peterson's not a good coach. People killed me for it. 2 years later, after winning the Super Bowl for Philly, he's fired. He's in Jacksonville. People said, oh, he'll help Trevor Lawrence. And it's like, he didn't help Carson Wentz. How's he going to help Trevor Lawrence? And here we are watching. Look, I'll agree with you to this all day. Trevor Lawrence is a very talented quarterback. I saw flaws in his game, and when he went to Jacksonville, I said, man, this is not a good look for him. He's not going to grow there. Peterson hasn't helped his growth at all. So, in my opinion, Peterson is probably the next guy to go. If there's someone that's going to go mid-year, it'd have to be him.
So you go Peterson. You said Sirianni. You know,
Sirianni is right, but dude, you barely beat the Browns. I'm sorry. I like. I'm having problems, and I hated the fact that they brought Kellen Moore in there, but it wasn't a Sirianni move. That was a Howie Roseman
that was
move.
a Howard Rosen move. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But I'm looking at this, and everything's tracking the way Philly is playing. I I don't want to hear, oh, Jalen Hurts isn't a quarterback, NFL quarterback, because you asshats that are in sports media that were proclaiming him this great guy 2 years ago when the Eagles went to the Super Bowl and Shane Steichen was the offensive coordinator. We're saying, oh, Hurts could be this, 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 this. And now 2 years later, well, maybe he's not. No, shut up. It's not a matter of Hurts, and it goes to what you said, B. It's the organization, who they're putting around, how they're helping these guys grow. Caleb Williams is the best talent that came out of the draft this year.
Yep.
I said Jaden Daniels was going to be the number one quarterback, and I had my reasons for that. And my reasoning for that is right now showing. Certain coaches just can't coach people up. And I know you said, hey, let's give Matt Eberflus a pass. But certain coaches can't coach players up, can't coach quarterbacks up. Nick Sirianni was not a guy that was coaching people up, was not making people better. Doug Peterson, the same way. He was not making these players better. Dable's on the hot seat, but I'll be honest with you. The Giants aren't that bad when you look at how the personnel is playing and how he's coaching. I'm starting to believe maybe he deserved Coach of the Year that first year
Yeah.
because he's still making do and making good with a pot of trash. This guy's making some Trinidadian cook up with these players over there. They're not that bad. He's doing something. Doug Peterson, Nick Sirianni, they have hella talent around them, and they're not making those players or that team better, which means it's on you. You suck. So those two guys are the guys that I'd say put them in the firing line, and it's time to go before I say before Thanksgiving. You might see both of them gone.
Who's that?
Sirianni and
Peterson? Which would be really crazy because they both were Eagles coaches. You know, Sirianni was one that I felt like was going to be fired, but I think he's going to coach himself at the very least, coach himself to coach the rest of the year. I don't think he'll be there next year. He's going to be gone. I think he's going to be gone. I don't see him being fired in season because it's not a dumpster fire right now. You know what is a dumpster fire though right now? I just checked on the Sunday Night Football game. I was like, what's the score? Right? It's 7-0, Fog. Like 7-0. Bengals are winning. It's 7-0 in the third quarter with about 13 something to go. Right? I'll tell you right now, Zach Taylor loses this game. Don't be surprised if we wake up tomorrow, he's fine. Don't be shocked if you wake up tomorrow and Zach Taylor is fired. I will not be shocked at all. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm not going to be like, oh, wow, I'm shocked. Zach Taylor is – I'm not. Now, I understand.
Ooh, really?
The Bengals have a history.
I'm watching the same game right now.
The Bengals have a history of holding on to coaches too long, i.e. Marvin Lewis. They held on to him probably like 6, 7, 8 years too long, maybe. But man, this would be such a dumpster fire of a year if they start the year 1-5, 3 to 4 games behind Pittsburgh and what is on the team name? The Ravens. Like
Yeah.
he's somebody that I can see if this doesn't turn around, if the team starts to turn on. It doesn't sound like the team's turning on him yet. They're not. There's not. I don't really hear that in the media. You don't really hear it in the interviews. I love
You don't
watching.
have him on the hot seat. What do you?
Huh? No,
You
no, no.
don't have him on the hot seat though.
Well, I think this is. I found this graphic somewhere else. I didn't make this graphic. I found this somewhere else. I was surprised that I think this graphic probably came out before the season started, even though this is still pretty accurate because obviously Robert Sala's not there anymore.
Yeah.
And I think Mike McCarthy may be on the hot seat as well. He's another guy who I feel like if this turns into a dumpster fire of a year for Dallas,
V,
like I
I
said,
told you
he's
the
gone.
NFC East on the game winning drive. I said the NFC East at the end of the year could have 3 coaches gone:
Gone. Yeah.
McCarthy, Dable, and Sirianni.
No, for real. Yeah. I agree. 100%. I don't think Sirianni will be fired mid-year. I think he's going to coach himself. I think the Eagles are going to be in it with the Commanders for the division. I think Dallas is done. I think they're folding. I think they're folding right before our eyes. So I think McCarthy could be gone. Dayball could be gone as well. I think Giants. I don't think they're that good. I know everyone was excited they beat the Seahawks. The Seahawks are a trash team. They're awful. Now I don't think like Mike McDonald won't be gone, but he's kind of disappointing. He's kind of disappointment based on who he was in Baltimore and Michigan, and people thought this defense was going to be better. It's actually worse since he got there. There's that. But I will say my 2 guys are Zach Taylor and Mike McCarthy. If I had to choose between those guys, the Bengals have that history of never firing coaches, but man, 1-5. I don't think you can last the season going 1-5. I like you came into the year with Super Bowl expectations, ready to compete with the Bengals or the Chiefs and the Ravens. And
But you know what's fucked up? We're gonna blame we're gonna blame Zach Taylor. And again, I wasn't a fan of Zach Taylor hire. And the fact that they went to a Super Bowl, it was like, oh God, look at this.
I never liked him either.
I'm like, I still don't believe it was because of Zach Taylor.
No, I agree.
And I started thinking to myself, damn, maybe I was wrong. But now watching this season, I'm not going to say it's just Zach Taylor. I don't think Joe Burrow's the quarterback people think he is.
Oh my! You know what? We don't have time to talk about this because we got to.
I'm sorry, I opened that can of worms, but hey, I'm just saying.
I'm not gonna sit here. I'm not gonna do this yet. I'm not ready to call him overrated, if that's what you're trying to say, yet.
Oh, I'm not trying to say it. I will say it. I think he's overrated. I think we overrated him, and I think people are making excuses for him. And here's what I will say: I told you this, B. I've said this consistently. If anything, I've been consistent. My comments about Josh Allen, I said he was going to be a bust. I've watched him prove me wrong. And there's certain aspects that I've done since Josh Allen, who has skewed me a certain way. I'm looking for football players. And my reasoning for picking Jaden Daniels over Caleb Williams as number 1 quarterback, my reasoning for picking CJ Stroud over Bryce Young as the best quarterback, the minority of these things, and we still have time to see this play out. I could still be wrong. But Josh Allen changed my opinion because the one thing I didn't factor in is like, wow, this guy has a football player mentality. This guy he's got that dog in him. Right? And so I'm sitting there, and Joe Burrow hasn't had that dog in him. He's had that privilege in him. he's had the privilege of having really great players around him. And he succeeded against, in college football, you had great players around you, and you succeeded with these great players around you. Well, one thing, David, my brother, and I'll say this to this day, he said, if you have a great quarterback and a great wide receiver at college, and those two guys are great in a fashion where they go to the NFL and it translates and they're both great in the NFL, then man, that college should have dominated. We're watching now, Joe Burrow had great receivers around. Well, guess what? Those receivers are having great success in the NFL. And while Burrow has had some remnants of great success, it's been limited. Is Burrow really that quarterback, or was it the personnel that was around him? And I think, in all honesty, it was a personnel that was around him. He's a good quarterback. I'm not saying he's not a good quarterback.
Right.
But don't fucking put him in the class of elite.
He's not, I'll say
He's not an elite quarterback.
No, he's not an elite quarterback. I've always said there's only one elite quarterback in the NFL.
It's Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes.
It's Patrick Mahomes and everyone else. I don't want to hear nothing else.
We just opened up a can, but I want to get some business. I really do. But I have been saving this for a while because this was the year I was going to say, you know what? Joe Burrow, the only reason why I feel like I can't put him in elite status or in the same conversation with like a Josh Allen, even Lamar Jackson, because Joe Burrow can't stay healthy. He can't stay upright, right? It's always hurt. It's always a calf, it's a finger, it's a wrist. Something's always going on. And you really don't get the best out of him. The best year he had was the year we went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that's the year they beat Mahomes in Kansas City, right? To get to the Super Bowl. That was his best year, right? And that's what everybody kind of took off on him. And look, I even said that, like, I like him as a quarterback. I think he's good. I really do. He's good. He's had some clutch moments, some clutch throws. You can't take that away from him. He's not a guy that just kind of lucks anything. He knows what he's doing. But for me, it's always been like, can you stay healthy enough to stay upright? And he hasn't been that. And to be fair, Fogg, he's had a good year this year. This is why I haven't been able to say it, because if they were losing because of him, I'd be like, all right, man, look, he's not having a good year and the Bengals are 1-5. Okay, that tells me that tells me a lot. It's all the context clues I need to know if someone's overrated, right? He's had a good year. Like the last week, losing to the Ravens, that wasn't on him. That was, he did throw that interception, right, to get the Ravens to get into overtime.
But here's the thing: we would have crucified.
Yeah, no. Yeah,
social media would have crucified Dak Prescott if he did that.
Or Lamar Jackson,
Patrick Mahomes if Lamar Jackson if he did. If they did those things. If they did what Burrow did, and that game was a great game, by the way.
It was. Really
but good. If Lamar Jackson would have been in Burrow's shoes and did the same thing, Jackson would have been crucified for that mistake.
No, I
Burrow
agree.
was not. So no, I'm not. I'll take the side that anybody who wants to turn around and justify Burrow, fuck you. You don't know football. Joe Burrow is not the elite quarterback as advertised. I'm sorry, this commercial is not matching the food that I'm eating right now. The dish I'm eating is not matching what you displayed on that commercial.
To be fair, the Bengals defense is awful. It's really bad. Defensively, they're bad. That's not Joe Burrow's fault. The Chiefs game, they should have won that game. He played well enough to win that game.
Yes, he did.
He played well enough to win that game. He played well enough to beat the Ravens, right? He's played well enough to probably win a lot of these games, right? Defensively, he has not come through. So I can't say I can say this: he's overrated from the standpoint of people giving him passes, but for me, it's more so of like, yo, like you can't stay upright. So like I can't trust you that you're even gonna be there when we need you, or if you're gonna be 100% healthy. My biggest thing on Joe Burrow has always been health. It's not necessarily been the talent; it's been health. That's for me. That's what's keeping him from being elite. It's the health factor. But I will say this: I will say this. At some point, Joe Burrow is going to. How do I say this? We can't keep giving him a pass because of the Super Bowl of 2021, right? And we can't keep trying to will him to be that guy that we all want him to be that elite guy. If he's not that guy, he's not that guy. I think he has the talent to do so, but I don't think he's that guy, right? Just like I look, fuck, I say the same thing about Josh Allen. I think he's a tad bit overrated because he gives games away, right? It's not his health, it's Josh Allen's ability to give games away. He will make plays for you, and then he will give games away. Like he's makes some bonehead plays, right? But at the same time, he will make plays for you to win the game. He will play it well enough to win. Sometimes he's running a Joe Burrow.
You know what? Here's the thing. I would trust Josh Allen because he's going to take that risk.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
He's going to take that risk. He's going to do what he needs to do to win the game. With
Fair
Joe
enough.
Burrow, we're watching the Giants right now. They're only up 7-0. Are you telling me that this team that is clearly on paper more talented than the Giants, you're only winning 7-0?
Is that more? So it brings me back to the hot seat thing, though. Is that more coaching? Is that a coaching philosophy? Is that Zach Taylor? Is that him not having his team prepared in these moments? And see, that's what I mean. Like, I think Joe Burrow's good enough to win you a lot of games. I'm just not ready to put him in elite status. So that's where I put that. For me, that's where the overrated conversation comes into play.
So this where it comes in is Brian Daboll actually a really good coach, and the Giants are being coached up, and is Zach Taylor that bad? But if you have, again, we've seen bad coaches with good talent, and that talent still rise. We're not seeing that right now. And the concern is, how did you get to here when you were here just a year ago, 2 years ago? Nothing's changed. Nothing's really changed.
Yeah. This is a conversation that I think I'm gonna bring to the masses, because I feel like I want to know what other people think of Joe Burrow. I do feel like there's a lot of apologists out there of him. I do feel like I do feel like he's still kind of eating off his college years of what we saw, because it was one of the greatest college football seasons individually we've ever seen. Despite the talent around him, he still did it. He still had to get the ball.
I will say this: your lack of running game is a problem.
Yeah, no Joe Mixon,
because you got rid of Joe. Look at Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon is still flourishing.
Yeah, Joe Mixon started the year.
I don't think they've handed over the reins, and they should. Zach Moss isn't a guy. He's a spell back. Chase Brown should be your number one back, getting all the carries. He should be on the field 75% of the time. But again, that's a personnel move. And like you said, goes back to Zach Taylor. Is this a problem with Zach Taylor?
This is why I feel like if there's anything that because the talent that's still there, because you have a top 5 quarterback, whether you think he's elite or not, to me, top 5 doesn't mean you're elite. That means he's just your top 5. But because you have a top 5 quarterback, because you have one of the best receivers in the league, right? You have one of the best tandem receivers in Higgins and Jamar Chase. You don't have a running game. Offensive line is still kind of shaky, but it's better. Defense is bad. This is why I think Zach Taylor is probably on the hot seat, because of what he's afforded to, what he has. And you're 1-5, bro. 1-5. No. I mean, here's what I think could happen though. I do think I do think the DC could go next first. And the DC is if things don't change after I don't know who the DC is. I'm not sure who the defensive coordinator is for the Bengals, but I think that guy could go first. And then maybe possibly Zach Taylor can go next. Because I just think I just it's 1-5 for a team that had expectations of winning the division, win the entire division, or at least competing for it, right? No, that's he's probably gonna go. Let's move it. Let's real quick. Let's move over to some Heisman talk because I want to get on this. So, well, I said top 4, but if you don't have 4, that's cool with me because I don't really have 4. I think it's a 2-man race anyway. But I want to ask you: is this race over? I guess I have to say, is this race over? Is Ashton Gentry going to run away with this one? Literally,
he should.
You think so?
He should. I don't think outside of maybe Travis Hunter, nobody's close.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Nobody's close. You're what you've got right now on the screen. People, look, watch. Because these might be the 2 best outside of McMillan in Arizona, the wide receiver over there. Skill position players are going to dominate this draft coming up. These 2 guys are top 5 draft picks.
You think? Okay, hold on. Time out. You
don't think Hunter is?
Oh no, yeah, 100%. Yeah, no, he is. He's top 5, no question about it. It's a matter of where you want him to go. Like that's just for him. It's just a matter of where you want him to go. I don't think Ashton Gentry is. There's no way he goes top 5.
He may not go top 5 based on needs.
First round.
He is the best running back coming out of this draft. And if you watch video of him, it's insane.
Now, this is the thing. Okay, here's the thing. It's just I just find it very interesting that we have. I'm not hating on the guy. I know it sounds like I am, but I'm really not hating on the dude.
The competition he's played.
It's well, like we've seen guys like this before. Like, I mean, I'm not maybe not to this extent. Maybe not to this extent.
That's it.
But we've seen Group 5 running backs. The guy that comes to my mind is I just had his name. I wrote his name down somewhere. He went to San Diego State. Let's see, a small running back. Something Pumphrey. I forget his last name, but I'll look into it.
Because the other running back that was there, the Giants drafted him.
The Giants from San Diego State?
Yes, Eagles drafted the running back you're talking about. And then the Giants drafted the other running back that was there.
I got to look into it. I will find that running later. I'll find that running back's name. But here's my issue with this is that Donnell Pumphrey. That came to me right there. Donnell Pumphrey from San Diego State.
Yeah, Donnell Pumphrey.
Where he had an incredible game or year, right? He had a Heisman year. He was putting up numbers. I believe in the same. It was either in the Western Athletic Conference or it was in the Mountain West. And he wasn't putting up numbers like this, but the reason why I think Ashton Gentry is going to run away with this is because there's no elite quarterback this year in college football. There's just none. There's no Caleb Williams type guy. There's no Trevor Lawrence type guy. There's no Lamar Jackson type guy. No Joe Burrow type guy who are playing in the Power 5 and taking all this attention because they're playing against better competition. This is the perfect year for Ashton Gentry because there's nobody else like that. I think Shedeur Sanders should be that guy, but he's not going to be that guy because Travis Hunter's that guy for Colorado,
Yeah.
right? So Travis Hunter's taking votes from Shador, but Travis Hunter, in his own right, in my opinion, is still in the race, even though he did not play. He didn't play like I believe like the last 3 quarters of the game, and I do believe he had played, they would have won because he would have made a couple plays on both sides of the ball to keep Colorado or either put them ahead or keep them the lead or have them keep the lead. But Travis Hunter had a bad game, right? Or he had a game that was of no impact. That's fine. The reason why I think he's still in it because every single year Heisman candidates have these games where like, okay, it's kind of a dud. Ashton Gentry is Ashton Genty, is gonna have one of these games, and it's gonna impact him more because he plays in the Group 5. Like, if you don't go over 150 yards against freaking San Jose State, that's gonna impact you more than if Travis Hunter, who plays in the Power 5, despite Power 4, despite how you feel about Travis Hunter, how you feel about Colorado in the competition, he still plays in a Power 4 conference, right? And he's going to be playing against better competition. He's going to have more chances to have games where his game's going to be more impactful. With now, look, here's the thing: if Genty breaks Barry Sanders' record for rushing yards, then it's over. And I will say, I believe Boise State, if I'm not mistaken, Boise State's in the top 10.
Yeah.
Right? They're a top 10 football team. So it's not like they're like some like.
Oh, wait, no. Did they? No, I don't think they are. AP poll did not have them in the top 10.
They're 15, but they're in the mix. They're winning.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying. They're winning, right? They're winning. And let's see who they have. They don't play any ranked teams here on out, right? The next team they play is UNLV, which is crazy, right? I think they have a bye week. So Travis Hunter has a chance to kind of put his name back up there. And then they play San Diego State, Nevada, San Jose State, Wyoming.
Well, what he's doing, I remember Donnell Pumphrey. The other running back that was on San Diego State was Rashad Penny.
Oh, he's awful. Good Lord, he's awful.
But again, people thought he was going to be great. And I argued when the Eagles drafted Humphrey, I was like, I think he's going to be a third down back special teams guy. I was wrong about that even. He didn't make he was on the team for 2 years and then they cut his ass and that was it. His football career was over. But I said Rashad Penny was not that guy either. What I'm watching with Genty is something different. He's dominating, and you watch it and you go, okay, well, he's playing against chump teams, but he's dominating against those chump teams. Like he's beating the brakes off of them. It would be one thing if they're just winning and he's just doing good.
Yeah.
No, every game he's doing great. It's almost like watching a high school football game where you're going, wow, this guy might take 12 carries for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. And oh shit, he did it.
It's very I'm not gonna lie to you, Fogg. It's very impressive. It is. It's very impressive.
It's amazing he's in Boise State.
Well, I mean, I haven't looked into his like career path or I know that he came from JUCO. I do know that he had an opportunity to go. He's from Florida, right? So I do know he had an opportunity to go to some Power 5 schools, but maybe he's wanted to play. I don't know what his maybe he's wanted to play. And Boise's not a bad school. I mean, it's a good football school. So like, it's not like he went to like a real like a scrub school. He's not a good power or group. He's not one of the better Group 5 schools in the nation. He's right. They're in the hunt to get into the college football playoff. And honestly, if he does, what could help him a lot, really, if he does get into the playoff and he dominates those teams.
Yeah.
Now we're cooking with gas. Now we're cooking with gas in terms of top 5, top 10, top 15. If he doesn't get to the playoff and he still does what he's doing, he's still gonna be a first round, maybe second round pick because he plays in a Group 5 and he's playing against guys, man, who are going to be insurance guys. Okay, we know that he's not playing against He's playing against very marginal competition. I understand what he's doing is incredible. He's an incredible back. Do I believe he will do this in the SEC? No, but I still think he'll be a pretty good back.
Yeah.
I still think he's a pretty good back. I don't think he'll be putting up these numbers in the SEC. Doing this in a group 5, I'm sorry. It just doesn't, there's a graphic that I'm going to show you. I'm going to send to you where like, I'm going to be, I sound like a hater, but it's what it is. They actually say cut, the whole like start, bench, cut. It was, the graphic was Aston Genty, Reggie Bush, okay, and it was Derrick Henry. And I'm like, bro, what are we doing here? What are you asking me to do here? You're asking me to cut Derrick Henry or bench Reggie Bush for this dude? Like, stop. Like, this is why I hate the internet. Like, but this is what I mean. Like, I get the craze, but he's a fantastic. And I can't wait to actually fully evaluate him when we get to our draft shows because I really want to see him. I'm not gonna lie to you. I haven't really seen him run. I've seen highlights, but I haven't seen him run. I'm waiting for that. I'm excited for that, but he's the guy right now. But what I'm trying to say is Travis Hunter still has a shot because what Travis Hunter's doing is incredible as well.
Yeah.
So like he still has a shot. Like he had a shot.
Listen, Colorado is way more impressive.
100%.
I'll say this: I didn't think they were this good.
Remember we had our show?
Definitely, yeah. They've impressed me.
We had Colorado winning like 3 games.
Yeah.
And like after they like, I mean, look, they still got the rest of their schedule is pretty tough. Let me pull it up real quick. The rest of their schedule is pretty tough.
It'd be tough for them. I think they got 4 wins right now. I had them at 4 or 5 wins at best.
I had them at 5.
But man, they look, even losing this past weekend. They also Horn got hurt. Hunter got hurt.
They lost their top 3 wide receivers.
And they still only lost by like 3 or 2.
3.
Like
that was like Travis
I'm
Hunter
just saying.
Travis Hunter plays in that game, they win. Because the reason why they won was because the quarterback threw a deep shot over the corner's head, and that probably would have been Travis Hunter. Right. Yep. You know, I mean, it's just as simple as that. So now they have Arizona next week. And they have Cincinnati.
Arizona did not look good against BYU. I'll tell you that right now. I watched that game.
I'll tell you what, BYU looks really good. So
wait till my top 12 comes out for this week for college football.
BYU looks really good. So, I mean, look, they have 4 wins. And I think they can squeak out 2 more wins in the next 6 weeks.
Yeah.
If they don't do that, it'll be a colossal failure. I mean, it just would be for Colorado's, but I still think these 2 guys on the screen are the top 2 guys. I mean, there's no elite quarterback this year in college football. There's just not. It's not Cam Ward. I like Shador, but it's not him. It's not Quinn Ewers. It's not Carson Beck. It's definitely not. Somebody who said that the Steelers should get Jalen Monroe. I'm gonna block them. I may have blocked them. I may have blocked them. I'm like Jalen Monroe is all. He's not good at all. I'm sorry. He's just not good. I've seen enough of him. He isn't good at all. But yeah, this is a very, very unique Heisman race, and I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes because these 2 guys are the top guys. I mean, I think for the first time since 2020, I believe, we're gonna have a non-quarterback win the Heisman. And I believe that last guy was Devontae Smith. Won in 2020. Yeah. That's the last guy. So we'll see. We'll definitely see. It's gonna be a fun one to run. All right, Paul, real quick. I know it's not Sunday night football. But who's your Monday night football prediction? Bills at Jets.
I hate the fact that the Jets changed head coach. And I know that the majority of times when there's a coaching change, that team comes out, they play great.
Firing. Yep.
I think the Jets are going to struggle because I don't think there was a problem in the locker room with Robert Salah. And I think the Bills are going to win this game. I will say this: if the Jets do win, then Sean McDermott may very well be the guy that we should have featured in our previous segment on the hot seat.
Ooh, I forgot about him. He's you know what's funny about him? He's kind of like it's funny, like he'll be on the hot seat during the season, but then somehow get in the playoffs and then win a game or two. And then we will like
This
forget it.
year isn't a game or two winning. I think this year is I said last year that the Bills window is done. It's closed
I did
at
too.
the
Yeah,
end of
I
the
agree. I'm
season.
with you. I'm with you. Yeah.
And we've seen so far two different Bills teams right now. If they lose to the Jets, that's 3 straight losses, and this is a different conversation that we're having about the Bills. The Bills win, then we're looking at the Jets organization and saying, hey, yeah, you guys are the dumpster fire you always been. You reached out for Aaron Rodgers thinking you were getting Tom Brady. And Tom Brady effect is killing the NFL because everyone thinks, oh, you got to win Super Bowls. Oh, look what Brady did. Oh, Brady could go to another team and help you win. Peyton Manning went to another team and help you win. And it's like, did you not see what happened during those seasons? And if Aaron Rodgers was Tom Brady, wouldn't he have won more in Green Bay considering the opportunities he had?
Yep.
I'm just saying.
100%.
So
100%.
yeah, the Jets are in the situation. I'm going to take the Bills here just because I don't think the firing of Robert Salah is changing the dynamic of that locker room. They promoted the defensive coordinator that Salah wanted. And he did exactly what behind the scenes got Salah fired. He demoted Nathaniel Hackett.
You know, for the simple fact that you made a great point saying that the locker room culture wasn't the issue,
Mm-hmm.
but Robert Saleh still gets fired. At the same time, I didn't really hear anybody like come out and like in defense of Robert Saleh. At least to my knowledge. I will say that if there's one person that's going to be fueled by this in a positive way, it's going to be Aaron Rodgers because he's got something to prove. He's gonna want to distance himself from the idea, which we all know he had something to do with it, but he's gonna want
Yeah.
to distance himself from the idea that he was the reason why Robert Saleh was fired. Um, and I will say that he's gonna have to really show that, man, I was brought here to win because I'm here to win, right? And if he doesn't, then it was a failure. Like, and honestly, it will be a hit on his legacy, even though he's going to the Hall of Fame. It'll be a hit on his legacy. I think he's gonna come. I mean, I'm picking the Jets. It's at home. They're gonna be fired up. New coach. They're gonna be rally around the new coach. It's gonna be a hard win because the Bills are not they're no slouch. It's gonna be a really tough win, but I think Aaron Rodgers is probably gonna have his best game of his career. Not his career, but since he's been a Jet. I can see him throwing for like 3 touchdowns, maybe over 300 yards, something like that. Great passer rating, Aaron Rodgers stuff, right? Vintage Aaron Rodgers. I can see that easily. If it doesn't happen and they still look bad, then it's gonna make Aaron Rodgers look even worse, honestly. Which I'm rooting for. I'm rooting for that. So I am not afraid to say that I hope the Jets lose every game. And Aaron Rodgers goes into the dark, literally, and his career ends very, very soon. I'm waiting for that.
Listen, he's on the wrong side of 40, and he is not Tom Brady.
It's not like it's just, and I'm hoping we see that as time goes on because I'm over like the whole idea that this was supposed to believe that this 41-year-old supposed to.
Listen, you're seeing it now. He didn't
Yeah,
look like he's
like,
not look.
he's not the same.
He's
He
not
looks.
looking good.
It's just
He's not
not.
looking good. You can't blame Robert Saleh, even though Woody Johnson wanted to. Yeah, again, this is a guy that
He's just not looking
was
good at all.
he. I think you posted it, and my brother commented about the interceptions, and I'm like, huh. I hate the fact that my brother. Yeah, it
No,
makes interceptions irrelevant because if you look at some of the quarterbacks, a lot of quarterbacks actually that have won Super Bowls, they've won it in years where they threw double digit picks, where
yeah,
they were in the top 10 or top 15 in interceptions. And it goes back to the fact that, well, they were willing to take the risk to win it all. And
yep,
Rodgers has shown just the opposite.
yep.
You
And
have one Super Bowl appearance, a Super Bowl win in the year you had a top 10 defense, top 10 rushing attack, and you were a top 10 quarterback, top five statistically. And that was it. Eli fucking Manning has two Super Bowl wins, was never a top 10 quarterback in those Super Bowl wins statistically, didn't have a top 10 defense or a top 10 rushing attack. No, he had top 10 rushing attack in one of those years. And he's got two Super Bowl wins. And as much as I shit on Eli, he was still willing to take the risks and make the throws that Rodgers just wasn't able to do or didn't want to do.
look, man, it's not a secret that your brother he's on something because look, last two Super Bowls, who won it? The Chiefs. Who was the quarterback? Patrick
Mm-hmm.
Mahomes. How many picks do you have? 12 and 14 the last 2 years,
Yep.
right? The year he won the MVP, who I believe they probably would have won the Super Bowl in 2018, his first MVP. He had 12 picks, right?
Yes.
You go to Brady real quick. You go to Tom Brady. Okay, Tom Brady. How many picks? I believe Brady's maybe a little more efficient TD interception ratio, maybe a little efficient. But the year they won the Super Bowl 2020, he had 12
Mm-hmm.
picks, right? Back in 2003, had 12 picks. 2004 had 14 picks. 2014, he had 9. So he was close. 2019, he had 8. But that was one of his worst years statistically for Tom Brady, right? So your brother makes great sense about being about Aaron Rodgers being very, very risk averse and not wanting to take the chances when necessary to
Yeah.
win. It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense, right? So look, I mean, it's not gonna happen now. I don't think the Jets are winning the Super Bowl. I don't see Aaron Rodgers winning another Super Bowl. It's not gonna happen now, but maybe Aaron Rodgers possibly, if he would have not worried about his touchdown interception ratio a little more when he was in Green Bay, possibly,
Mm-hmm.
maybe based on the data and statistics. I'm not a data guy, but it makes sense. It makes sense. Maybe they would have won him a few more times, maybe, but that's Aaron Rodgers for you. I mean, it's kind of a microcosm of him. I mean, the guy who's pretty only thought about himself, right? Pretty much his entire career, right? And always never taking the blame or taking accountability
Yep.
for actions or for losses. But that's good doing it for us, man. We really appreciate everybody who watched on all platforms I shared with. A lot of good views today. I really appreciate you guys coming on this late, especially in the East Coast. I know it's about 10:35 over there. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to our pages as well. Be Easy Sports, and of course, Objectively Biased Sports. As you heard Fogg just say, he's coming out with his top 12 college football teams, and I'm looking forward to that. So he can be wrong. He's probably gonna have Florida State in there. He won't. He will not have FSU in that. But I am interested in seeing where BYU lands, as well as Boise State, because we talk about that a lot. But we'll look forward to that. You guys keep an eye on that. I'll share that on my page. It'll be on his page on Objectively Biased Sports as well. But really appreciate you guys staying strong the last 3 weeks. I know it's been a little wild ride, but we're back to regular scheduled programming. We'll be here every Sunday night to recap the games, early games, late games, Sunday night games, and give our Monday night prediction and talk about college football as well. Every Sunday night, be here with us so we can have a good time and talk some football. As for myself, Be Easy Sports. As for Fog, they typically buy sports. We'll see you guys next week.
Giants just missed a field goal.